Okay.
Secret place where there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused and I need peace. Take me along. Take me along. Sometimes life weighs me down. I try to press on, but every time I turn around, it seems like I'm up against the wall. My life's upside down. I need to rest away from all life's mess. In your secret place, where there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused and I need peace. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret
Hello, hello, hello. We're live, y'all. Oh my goodness. Look at all my guests popping in. Oh, we're going to unmute them so they can say hello to you, so they can say hello. If you're watching, share the live, okay? For my guests on, y'all, now's the time to share the live. You can share it to your Facebook pages. And if you're a guest watching tonight, go ahead and hit that share button, or you can hit that notification bell. You can hit that @ symbol as well. And so I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. Let me see what's going on. All right, we got to get this camera right. Okay, all right. I think if I don't move, it'll be perfect. And then I go moving. I move when I talk. Oh, well, the internet will catch up with us. And so I will introduce you all. And so right now, our topic this evening is dealing with rare and chronic illnesses. right? Rare or chronic illnesses. And so I wanted to bring a few of my friends and associates here and even family members to just talk a little bit with you all, because I think that information is power. And I think that everyone's story and testimony is meant to help someone else. And so I pray that something that we share here with you today can help you, or help you to be able to help someone else that you know who might be afflicted with one of the few things that we'll be talking about this evening. And we got guests popping in and out. Listen, technology, you never know. So we'll add them back when they come. And here we go. And so let me start by first thanking you all for joining our Thursday thing, okay? Every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we get it in on the topics, right? And we have a lot of different topics that we talk from. Okay, and so today we were going on the health kick. And so let me introduce you to this amazing cast that I have here so we can get this conversation. Oh, and comment if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook or in a private group or public group or on my page or on one of the guest speakers page. We want you to share. We want you to comment so we can scroll those comments across the screen, okay? And you'll click to allow StreamYard to allow your likeness. And so it's that way we can show your picture and your name and we'll know who is actually commenting. And so we do want to know that you're here. If you have questions as we go along, we want you to share those as well. And we want you to be able to see who you are. Oh, hello, God's gift E-Dub. Hey, he says, hey, y'all. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And we'll keep those comments streaming across as we go. All right, so without further ado, let me start introducing you to some of these speakers. And as more join, I will introduce them as well. And so first, we have my lovely sister, who you all might remember from the Makeup Monday. She led our Wild Brow class, okay? And so this is Moani Bay. And her social media hashtag will pop up in a second there, but you can follow her on social media. She's 19, y'all, my baby sis, and she's a junior in college. She's majoring in social work and she's minoring in rehabilitation services. And she is so talented. And she also has a rare illness, which she's going to tell y'all more about in a little bit. And so I love that she's building her resume, and she's also a makeup artist, right? She knows how to arch brows and do brows and lashes and all kinds of makeup looks. So I'm gonna add that to your introduction as well. And then next we have a familiar face, which you all probably know and have seen before because she was just on last week. So listen, my friends are multifaceted, all right? And so I just love. And so Nicole Crawley is phenomenal. And so and let me get the right bio because I got two for you. Nicole has suffered from chronic migraines, permanent nerve damage, plus she had a heart condition due to a car accident. She has always used gratitude and positivity as a tool to get through it. Through a recent spiritual journey, she was drawn to clearing her traumas and is now a motivational speaker and has a quantum frequency healing business. She also is a good friend of mine that I met. We just thought about it like 8 years ago. And so I just love her. And I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm just so grateful to see you healthy. And I really want to share, because I do believe the people that I brought here, I was very intentional, because I think there are people who have had rough times with their illnesses, but also have found remedies to fix it. And so that's her hashtag or her social media handle at the bottom. And then next up, we have our next guest. And so we're going to put him up on the screen and I'll introduce you. This is Mr. Chris, who is from Los Angeles. Hello, Janika. Thank you for tuning in. He is 32 years old. He has nephrotic syndrome. I hope I said that right. Since the age of 2. And so he is working right now on his EDD. That's his social media handle right there. He likes working out. He loves working out. Okay. He could bench press 300 pounds or something. He is strong, y'all. Okay. Is it 400? Is it 400? Did you correct me? Yeah, 400. I'm sorry. See, it's 400, y'all. Listen, swole. Okay. He loves shopping and being spontaneous. And so, and I think that's a little light bio. He actually got a whole bunch more credits under his name. And I know that his goal is to be the chancellor of the Chicago, or not Chicago, I always say Chicago, but one of the city colleges. And so these people are doing it in spite of. And so that's why I wanted to bring them in front of you all this evening, because I want you to see people that don't let the illness or the sickness get them down. And so I appreciate and thank you all for being here this evening. And we got a couple more guests that might pop in later. And so I'll introduce them then when they do. And I am Inez K. Jones. If I didn't introduce myself to you all, you can follow me at Inez K. Jones on all social media. So Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, okay, Twitter, all of them. You can follow my hashtag or whatever you call it. Look, social media handle. And so I just love that I'm able to be here with you and share as well. And so that's my handle right there at the bottom. And for those of you who don't know, I actually have a rare illness called CVS. And so some people don't know what that is. They haven't even heard of it. You have to have like different diagnoses. They have to rule out 12, I think it is. They have to rule out 12 different ailments before they actually rule it CVS. So I think I froze up there a little bit. So hopefully this internet will treat me right today. And so I will tell my story a little bit more later, but that is one thing that you all might not know about me. And so it's something that I really feel like I have overcome and that I'm not even afflicted with it anymore, but it definitely debilitated me for about a decade, about a legit decade. And so first and foremost, I'm going to have each of them explain to you a little bit about what their ailment is and what's going on with it, how they figured it out, and just give us some descriptions about their own illness, and so that you can understand better what some of these things are for two reasons. One, because you might know someone who has it. Two, you might know someone who is dealing with symptoms of it, but hasn't been diagnosed yet, because that's a hard part for many people with rare or chronic illnesses is the diagnosis. That takes I think the most time, and that was the most frustrating thing for me, because I was like, Lord, if you could just tell me what it is, I promise I will deal with it, but I can't fight when I don't know what I'm fighting. And so if that's you and you're listening or you're watching later, we definitely, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And we hope that something we say here helps you this evening. And so, okay, let's go in the order. Let's go Nicole, then Mo, and Chris. We'll keep that order going through. So go ahead, Nicole, girl.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I was hit by a drunk driver 16 years ago. And that is what really created so many of my issues. I had several tears in my lower lat, 3 tears in my upper rhomboid. I had 3 fractured ribs, permanent nerve damage to my back, cervical spine strain, all this stuff. The trauma from the car accident created my heart condition. It triggered my heart condition in my DNA. 4 years of misdiagnosis before they finally figured out what I had. So I have neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome. And what happens is my lips get numb, my cheeks get numb, and then I have about 2 minutes before all of the energy in my body disappears and I'm down on the floor. And I usually have like a panic attack when this happens because I'm so unaware of what's happening with my body. So I'll like start like shaking like a seizure when this happens. And then my pain from my car accident will kick in too. So I'll have like my muscles are actually twisting and like almost atrophying. So I feel like I'm having a heart attack during it. So it's pretty intense. It's pretty insane. But looking at me, nobody would think anything's wrong with me, right? It's similar to Inez's, where the only way to diagnose it properly is by ruling out other conditions. So I had to wear a TENS unit. I had to wear something that measured my heart and all this stuff for 2 months. And then the only way you can really diagnose this properly, it's similar to POTS, if you think of that, is a tilt table test. So it's the worst thing you will ever go through in your life, but it only lasts like maybe 15 minutes. And they strap you to what looks like a mattress. And they literally tilt you upside down. And they wait for you to faint and pass out. And when you do, and what angle you're at, I guess determines what you have. And then I woke up from it, and then I got nauseous again, and then I fainted again. So then they said that my body it's capable of healing itself. This is not a permanent thing.
Well, that is key right there. I'm gonna interject because all of our
Yeah.
bodies are capable of
Oh, yeah.
healing themselves, and this is the
Mhm.
pieces they don't teach you in school. And I don't know why, but I'm about to tell the world, okay? Because that is something I have found out, and I wish somebody would have shared it with me 10 years ago to save me a lot of medical bills, to save me a lot of heartache and pain, okay,
Yeah.
sleepless nights. And if my memory serves me, you and I coined a term back when we were roomies about 8 years ago, and
What
we
was it?
said invisible diseases
Yes. Oh, yeah.
because you wouldn't know it from looking at us, right? You
Mhm.
really don't know unless we open up and share and tell you, or if you're around us during an episode, you
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
know. You really
No.
wouldn't know. And so I always love that term because I feel like they described it very accurately, very
Yeah.
accurately. So
Yeah.
I cut you off. Were you finished? Did you need to
Oh,
share
no, it's
more?
okay. Yeah. So I've also had chronic migraines my entire life.
Okay.
So vestibular, occipital, the regular migraines. I even had abdominal migraines where I would throw up for 7 hours. So,
and
but this
so,
is no longer. I'm doing great now.
ooh,
So, yep. And it's all
yes
about,
for that.
yes. And emotions are really tied into diseases and things that manifest in your body. So when you clear trauma and when you work with frequencies like I do, that's what has been the answer for me. So that will be my intro for now.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And
course.
honestly, I didn't even know we had that in common. The chronic migraines, the chronic abdominal migraine. So if you can just imagine what a migraine feels like and then picture that in your stomach, or women who have menstrual cycles, imagine that times 10. That's an abdominal migraine. Okay.
Yeah,
And so
it's brutal.
CVS patients, we actually deal with that on a regular, like it's like, a regular thing. And then, like you said, when you had to go everywhere, like you can't control it. I tell people the best way I can explain it is like, if you know what you feel like if you've ever had the flu, you could times that times 10.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what I have been going through. That's what some of the people who are watching, and we'll actually put that slide up real quick for my Facebook group. I did start a Facebook group for those who might be afflicted with CVS to share my remedies. And so we'll share that slide here in a second. Uh-oh, not that one. We're getting it together, y'all. And so with it, it's actually a Facebook group. And so it's called CVS, Cyclic Vomiting Syndromes. And we'll take this banner off so you can see it. And so remedies. And so this is a public Facebook group that you can search if you are someone who's afflicted with CVS, or if you are someone who is a caregiver for someone who is in CVS or who has CVS, right? Or if you are the parent of someone who is afflicted with this, I want to help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the decades and the remedies so that you too can be healthy, or your child can be healthy, or your loved one that you're caring for can be healthy. And so thank you for that share. So you all can look that up. And this is the first time I even talked about it publicly. But when I created the group, it grew so fast. I wasn't even expecting it. And so we have about 50 members already in it. And that was just without me having even advertised it. So that means that I know that God put it on my heart to share for a reason, and that people were out there that really did need it. And so I'm in the process of writing a few books right now, and one of them will be on remedies to cure not only this specific one, but I do believe it works for other ailments, which I'll talk about a little later. But let's go ahead on to Moani, and then we'll go to Chris. So you all just explain your illnesses a little bit for everyone. Uh-oh, Mo, we can't hear you, boo. Hey, you talking to us? Uh-oh. We can't hear you. Technology. Try it now.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now, sis.
Okay, cool. So, I was diagnosed with an illness called functional dyspepsia, and it came from me having so many sinus infections and ear infections around my 7th grade year. I had so many antibiotics in my system that I actually got nerve damage from it. So in my stomach, I would have issues like it'd be difficult for me to eat. When I did eat, it was extremely painful. I had extreme nausea, migraines, sleepless nights. I even developed a sensitivity to where my skin was so sensitive to touch that I couldn't even wear clothes. It was difficult for me to sit down and lay in a bed. I would stand up for comfort. So yeah, that's something that I was dealing with for a long time, and I ended up going through some major diet changes, and that ended up helping me a lot, and I have significantly improved from that since. This started for me around my seventh and eighth
Thank you.
grade
And
year.
so, and for a long time, I was like, she got the same thing I got. It's CVS. I'm like, it sounds so similar, but really it wasn't. It was close, but it wasn't. We share some similar symptoms, but not the same exactly. And I do think a lot of it has to do with your DNA, like Nicole said earlier. Thank you for sharing, Mo. And we are going to share some of your remedies too that you feel like help you with not having to be sick as much as you were, because you were in and out of the hospital just quite a lot.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult. My sophomore year of high school, I missed 264 days of school, being in and out of the hospital. And it was very difficult for me, being a person who grew up in a family that's like very rich and involved in academics. I've always been, honor roll student. That was probably one of the toughest years of my life.
Definitely. I remember that very vividly. But you made it through. You made it through. You made it through. We are survivors. You hear me? Okay, Chris, come on, share with us, please, sir.
So my condition is nephrotic syndrome. So basically, at any given moment, if my body has any irregularity, it could be too hot, too cold, sleepy, tired, a scrape, a change in the weather, anything. My kidneys have the potential to shut down. And so what happens is when I've had it for so long, you kind of feel it. So like anything that I eat, drink, or that is ingested in me will stay inside of me, and it probably won't release for about a week, and then at worst sometimes 2 weeks. So when that happens, your body or my body swells up, gain upwards of 30 pounds in like a day, and it just kind of sits on you. Your clothes don't fit. It hurts to walk. Your joints are sore. Um, it's just just imagine if you woke up one day and the next day you just had like an extra 30 pounds just all over your body, and most of it is fluid. It's just fluid from when your protein goes into your bloodstream, which is not supposed to. Your body releases plasma, and then when all the plasma just kind of goes throughout your body, you kind of just fill up like a big fat water balloon. So I've had that since two, and yeah, I've been battling it. I know when I was in elementary and in junior high school, I would always get sick like every Christmas. Like Christmas, you could almost count on me being in the hospital. So yeah, doing that. I'll be 33 on the 27th. So I went 4 years without having a relapse where they just didn't shut down, and I guess recently during the pandemic and this whole summer I had kind of 4 minor relapses, but I'm doing a lot better. So it's just there, and I'm what I was told growing up with a lot of African American males have it, not necessarily females. So they don't actually know how I got it. Some people say it was from when I got stung by a bee when I was a kid. So every time I see a bee, I run the other way.
Oh, me too. Me too. I don't do them too well.
I don't do bees. Some people said it could have been the mercury in my mom's fillings from when I was a kid, or maybe having a bad reaction to cold weather. So there's all these different theories, but yeah, I've just been coping with it now, and so yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And if you're watching and you have questions, please do, type those in the comments so that we can get those answered, because y'all know we like to be interactive for our lives. And Chris, thank you for sharing that. And my heart goes out because like every Christmas is like one of my favorite holidays. So I was like, dang, that had to be a bummer. But I'm so happy to hear that you said, you went 4 whole years without having an issue. And so that is a testimony in itself. And I think, the pandemic didn't hit everyone in different ways. So that's to be understood. But I would like to actually have you all share now because a lot of you actually talked about remedies. And so why don't you go ahead and share some of the remedies that you feel like helped you a lot to get to where you are now, where you don't feel like you're as afflicted with the ailment as much. And we'll keep the same order. So Nicole, Mo, and then Chris.
Okay, so I am happy to say I have been migraine free for 9 weeks, and I owe it all to my Healy. It is a quantum frequency healing device, and it pretty much it sends frequencies into your. If you wear it, it sends microcurrents, and then it sends it into your cell membrane voltage. And if you do it at a distance, at a remote session, then it sends it into your information fields. And it balances and strengthens your bioenergetic fields. And what happens when that's being strengthened and balanced is your own natural body's healing capacity is enhanced. So it's just absolutely incredible. I'm a whole different person. Like if you had known me 3 months ago compared to right now, whole different person. Like my kids they can't believe they can see my eyes because my eyes will be so sensitive from the light inside from the light going through the window that I would have to wear sunglasses all the time.
Too.
So now my kids are like, you have eyes and you have eyelashes. They're pretty. Like it's just so funny. And also just clearing traumas. I worked with a spiritual guide, Val Cripps. She's incredible. And like, I do really truly believe that when you push emotional situations down, when you have an imbalance between your conscious and your subconscious, it manifests in your body as disease, and it manifests in your body as things that are uncomfortable sensations. So when you do the work and you clear the traumas, you're all of a sudden just released. It's just been such a blessing. Both of them have been such a blessing. And for my chronic pain too, like for my car accident, so I could lift a mug and then be in dire pain for 2 weeks. Or I could do like an hour class of yoga and be fine. Like it makes no sense when you have nerve damage. It just doesn't make sense. Like the pain just like triggers in for no reason. And so when it does, I run my Healy, I run my frequencies, and then I'm better. So, yeah,
and so is that Healy, is it like a machine? Is it something because you said something you wear?
It is. I can show it to you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Show us.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I was the same way with the light. The light was very much a trigger for my migraines to the point where I wore blackout shades everywhere. I wore sunglasses even inside, and people would think I'm crazy.
Yes.
But I didn't care because I knew that I needed to block that sun out. Even when I was indoors, there's still light that comes in, and it would bother me tremendously. So I totally understand that that feeling. And yes, you're right. I don't have to wear sunglasses now when I'm inside or outside in the sun when I'm driving. I mean, I still like, my little cute shades. I gotta have my bling. Look, let me show y'all.
Ooh, cute.
I still gotta have them, but I don't need them, which is different, right? And so that's more of a fashion thing than it is for me needing it for health reasons. So go ahead and show us the Healy.
So this is a Healy. Whoops, I got it. There we go.
Okay.
It's like 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches.
Okay.
It has a quantum sensor in it. And the quantum sensor is what reads your ECG and your information fields to determine what you need in that exact moment and then sends customized frequencies to you. It was developed by a quantum physicist. This is like incredible. This is next level.
Nice.
So yeah. So it's
nice.
a huge, huge blessing.
Okay. And if they wanted to get one of those, how do they get it from you?
They can comment on my Instagram. They can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Okay. Yep, feel free. And I do distance sessions too. So I sell the devices, but I also provide remote sessions.
Got it. Oh, yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, Mo, you ready to answer? And then Chris, same question. What remedies have worked for you? Oh, Mo.
Can you hear me?
Girl, your headphones not working today. Okay, Chris, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, sorry about that.
Wait.
Me personally, probably, I mean, I'm not trying to say it, but kind of just eating less or just really watching your diet, especially avoiding the sodium. I know for the cold part, I know whenever the first rain drops, I kind of stay inside, even if it's work related. Like I just won't go to work because something like it's out of my control. I don't know if it's too cold, too whatever. So the first rain, stay away. And I try to stay active. I try to do something every day, like fitness wise, even if it's just walking, running, jumping, doing something. And I notice the more I do that, the less susceptible I am to having a relapse. Trying to think if there's anything else. And then I know one of the major medications that they give it is for this is prednisone. So if you can limit your intake or the milligram intake that you have utilizing prednisone, that's always a plus. Because I was on prednisone for about 20 years. Then so I just got tired of it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend the way. I just went cold turkey on it. And I had to go through that was just some other challenges. But if you can limit your intake with that, that also helps too.
Yes, and we aren't doctors, so talk to your doctor for any recommendations. But you can wean off of medicines too. But thank you for sharing that. I think you said exercise. That's an important piece. And you talked about the medicines because people don't know, but some medicines will stay in your system for years after you have taken it. Like, I was so shocked at how long it took this one medicine to get out of my system. I mean, I hadn't taken it over a year and they were like, it was still showing up in my blood work. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, it's been a year. So some of them take a while to get out of your system. So you got to be careful with the medicines and the intake. And if you can wean them down, that's always a plus. Okay, I see Mo is back. All right, try to talk now. See if we can hear you, girl.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry about that connection issue. So for me, like I said, I went through some major diet changes. So after a long process of trying to figure out what I had, my doctors came to the conclusion that because it was a gastrointestinal issue, and it involved food and me eating, that we would just start to wean out food. So they had initially put me on a bland food diet, because acidic foods, tomatoes, hot things, they all agitated it. It made it even worse. It was always painful no matter what I ate, but those were exceptionally worse than, say, pasta or rice. So after going through different diets, trying to figure out what worked for me, I started feeding out different food groups. And I would feed out one food group for a while, and then I would reintroduce it slowly. So when I got to the meat and food group and whatnot, I had actually had probably the easiest month I had had for a long time, with much less issues. I was eating more. I had an appetite, which was crazy. It was the first time I had an appetite, and I want to say 2 or 3 years prior to that. And I actually had a taste for food. So I, thought, well, maybe that was just a fluke. Maybe it was a good month. So, of course, I went to reintroduce it. And, I had like one bite of a chicken wing. I didn't even finish the whole wing. And the next day, I was so sick that I could barely walk. I was crawling to the bathroom. And so I decided, like, never again. So I eat fish, I eat seafood, but I do not eat chicken, beef, lamb, turkey, pork, definitely not. Anything like that. And it helps a lot.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. And so you're technically a pescatarian now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So listen, I was so proud of her for making that decision and that discipline. And maybe I'll follow in her shoes. Maybe. I don't know.
I have been a pescatarian for 3.5 years now.
And you lost a lot of weight too.
Yeah, I did. I did lose a lot of weight off of that. And just partially that, the change in my diet, not having as many meat options, it can be frustrating at first, especially when you're a person who eats out a lot, or like me, who came down to college after being pescatarian for about a year. And I came down here, and it was a rude awakening. I was eating food from a dining hall and having to figure it out. So I had a lot of salad, a lot of pasta, a lot of baked potatoes in my diet, beans and things like that. So I made it work for myself. You can all make it work.
Yes, kudos to you for that, definitely. And then you learn to cook stuff on your own and cook it better than what you already do. You know, our family, we learn how to cook, okay? So that helped too, I think. Plus, when you cook it yourself, you know what's in it, right? And when you buy it yourself from the store, you know if it's organic or not, right? And so I think that plays an important piece. And so real quickly here, I'll share some of my remedies and we'll move on to the next question. But for my ailment, and I have CVS, and I almost wanted to say it in the past tense, but I really don't believe I'm afflicted with it at all anymore. But that I had the chronic migraines, I had pelvic floor dysfunction actually, and then also what was the other thing? I don't even know the name of it anymore. But it was just a bunch of stuff, right? And so I was taking a medicine. And then I'm taking another medicine to counteract this medicine. And then, you know, you got the side effects of the medicines and one medicine can't go with this one. So then you got to switch. Like I looked up and I was on 20 different medicines, literally. And so for me, the remedies that work, and for anyone suffering with headaches or migraines, especially chronic migraines, this was really a simple solution that I wish someone would share with me sooner. But I learned it from a headache specialist. And 30 minutes of sunlight. 30 minutes of sunlight outside. And remember, the sun bothered me so much. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding, doc. I can't handle it. I'm going to be laid out on the ground. Like I was arguing with the doctor. If you know me, you know I speak my mind. Okay. I was like, this is not going to work, sir. And he said, trust me, I've been doing this a long time. You tried all the other medicines and it didn't work. Oh, I didn't say that. So I had gone to, what's going on with my camera? Okay. I had gone to Mayo Clinic. I had gone to University of Chicago. I had gone to the Northwestern University and Mayo Clinic. You know, you don't just get to Mayo Clinic, okay? You got to be real sick to get into Mayo Clinic, and then your doctor has to do about a stack worth of paperwork. About this thick of paperwork to get you in, and it has to be something that like is within one of their studies, and it's just all kinds of red tape. But finally, I got in there, and then I had to go. For weeks. But one of the things that I was the guinea pig for them was those Botox shots in your brain. And so now y'all might see commercials for it and talk about the insurance will help, you know, will pay for it. And it helps with chronic migraines. Let me tell you this. First and foremost, that stuff is painful because they do not numb you. And I just couldn't understand. I was like, why can't you numb me first? And mind you, it's 20 shots in your head. I'm talking about, and then you have to get it done every 3 months. And all I gave you was a squeezy ball, which, you know, you're going to squeeze the life out of that thing. It was flat by the time I got through with it. But it did work. I can't lie. It did work for a couple of months, but then it's like it wore off and then you have to get it again in that month 3. And so in my mind, this was a Band-Aid. This wasn't a solution. I was like, I need solutions, doc. I'm not about to do this the rest of my life. You know, I'm about to be shooting me in my head with Botox. Like I was in my 20s at this time, right? And so I feel like, no, this is not what God has for me. I know that it's got to be something else. And so anyway, the headache specialist is who I went to see after I just got tired of the shots in the head. And he told me 30 minutes of sunlight. He told me to drink 8 ounces of caffeinated coffee. Now, mind you, at the time, I did not drink coffee. I was not a coffee drinker. I had to make myself like coffee and acquire the taste for coffee in order to help with my headaches. And every 12 hours was key. He said, a lot of times people do coffee incorrectly. You have to space it out every 8 hours. I was like, well, if it wakes me up, then that's going to be bad, doc. I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't be up all night. I still got to work. And he's like, no, I'll do it at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So then by the time, 10 o'clock comes, it will wear off a little bit and you can get your sleep. You'll be fine. And so that's what I did for consistently. And then the next thing that he said is to make sure that I was hydrating. And so that one thing with CVS patients is that we dehydrate faster than a normal person. So if a normal person, I don't know, it takes 2 days or whatever to dehydrate. We're dehydrating 3 times as faster, right? So if the normal person needs, I don't know, 4 cups of water, we need 16 cups of water. You hear me? And so I drink a lot of water. People who know me be like, "How did you always drink water?" I sure am, because I have to keep myself hydrated so I don't go into an episode. And so what I learned is that different waters hydrate you in different ways. And I did do a live previously about this, but the best water is coconut water, because it's natural, all natural coconut water. It's the best one. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like coconut water." Well, listen, coconut water is so great that if your body doesn't need it, it lets you know by making the taste of the coconut water bitter. Did y'all hear that? Your body will tell you if you don't need it, because if coconut water tastes bitter to you, then you're okay. But if it tastes sweet, then you do need it, meaning you're dehydrated. And it's always best cold, I believe. And there's different kinds. My favorite is one coconut water. And but there's all different kinds. They got Vita and different stuff. And so that's number 1. Number 2 is the alkaline water. And if you don't know about the alkaline water, Google it, look it up. Now you can buy alkaline water in the grocery stores. But I bought a machine. And you can rent a machine, so that in my house, all I drink is alkaline water, because I noticed that when I had stopped drinking it, for a period of time, I got sick again. And I was like, well, what's different? What's different? And the only thing that was different was the water I was drinking. That was it, because our bodies are acidic internally. And so balancing out the alkalinity is truly important. The next water that's good for you is spring water. Okay. All natural spring water. Then the next water would be, or actually before spring water would be Kangen water. If you haven't heard about Kangen water, you can get a machine for Kangen water too. And then it's spring water. Then it's, then it'll be like waters that maybe have electrolytes added into them or something, like what's that, smart water or something. And then it'll be filtered tap waters, like if you have a filter on your faucet or in your refrigerator. Then it will be tap water. Unfortunately, tap water is not like it used to be, and so there's some unhealthy things in it. And last but not least is that purified water. So for all of y'all drinking that purified water, you are really doing more damage to your body than you know. And so that purified water, man, get rid of them bottles. And I know you'd be like, "Oh, well, it's the only kind of water I like." I know, because they put stuff in it to make you acquire the taste for it. Therefore, you'll want to keep only buying it. But it's really not good for you. It's doing your body so much damage internally. You think you're hydrating, but really you're dehydrating yourself every time you drink a bottle of it. So that's my little rant on the waters. But the waters is important. The sunlight, and then your supplements are really important. And I talk more about that in my CVS group, and maybe I'll do another live on it, because I want to keep going with our questions and our guests that are on here. So my next question for everyone is, what was the biggest mindset shift that you had to overcome during this time in the season, as you transitioned from being sick to being well, or from being the victim to being the overcomer, right? Because I think those are both transitions that we make. And so go ahead, Nicole, and then Chris, and Mo.
Okay, so 2 things. Well, you hit the nail on the whatever. I don't want to say the word. It's definitely your mindset, just changing it, like not accepting being a victim. When I decided that, no, you know what, I'm not going to be the victim in this. I have a decision in this. I picked up the book The Secret after my car accident, because I was in so much pain, you guys, that my body could not sleep until my body was too exhausted to, like, it would just collapse. That's the only way it could sleep. So sometimes I was awake for 3 days because I was in so much pain. Like, it hurt to breathe. It was just brutal. And I was in a deep depression for 6 months after my car accident.
I love that book.
I picked up the book, The Secret.
That book. It's by Rhonda Byrne. For those of you who don't know, I talked about it in another live.
Yes.
She also has a book called The Magic, and I did a magic challenge.
Yes,
she has The Power, right? Then she has the Testimonies of the Secret. What's the 5th one there?
I think it's the belief or something. It's something about believing. Get that one. I don't remember. I have to look it up. I'll look it up. But yeah, so it's really like the moment that I decided that so I woke up, I opened the book, The Secret, and then I was like, you know what? That woman that hit me is not going to have any more control over my life right now than she did when she hit me. And from that moment on, I kept gratitude journals. I didn't let myself even say the word pain. I actually have a protection program running right now, because I knew I'd be talking about my diseases, because I don't want that in my universe. I don't want that in my world right now. I don't want those words in my, I'm just very focused on the words that I say, because they do have power. Every single word you say has power. And especially if you have a condition and it's labeled a specific name, when it's outside of your body, that gives it power. When it's inside your body, you could say like cellular dysfunction of the heart. That's inside your body. That lets your mind think, you know what, I can do something about this. But when you label it like neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome, that's external. It seems like it's something that isn't part of you. And that gives that disease power. So for me, mindset was everything for me.
Yes. I had to tell people, I just stopped talking about it. I stopped claiming that I had it. I stopped speaking
Can't
it.
say the word.
And man, it really made a difference to the point where some people were like, well, are you still even sick? You never talk about it anymore. I was like, well, that's so funny you said that. I'm actually glad you made that observation, because I made an intentional choice to stop talking about it, to stop speaking about it, because I realized that we have power of the tongue in creation. And so we're recreating our ailments when we're steady saying, oh, I suffer for this, or I'm afflicted with this, or I have this, etc. And so, okay, Chris, then Mo.
Yeah, I would probably say, I just stopped talking about it. And then, I mean, they always told me that I would be cured by like 16. But then when that didn't happen, I kind of just took matters into my own hands. So like, I would just try stuff. And then I remember one day I just stopped taking the medicine cold turkey. Like, I mean, I've tried everything. So just kind of just being your biggest advocate. And then, just going a day at a time, like, going one day at a time, know your limits and, things you can and things you can't do. And, that's kind of just been my biggest MO. And then I've always just tried to stay active. Like I said before, if I could just do something productive actively, I feel that'll give me my best chance. And that's kind of been my whole shift going forward.
Okay, thank you for saying that. And you work out a lot too, so I think that helps too, because the endorphins that go in your body when you work out, they send positive like neurons. There's all kind of science behind it, so I think that probably has played a big piece. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, Mo.
So the biggest mindset curve I feel like that I had after having functional dyspepsia for the first few years, I didn't get a diagnosis until I was probably about 2.5 or 3 years into having this issue. And so, I went from being a very bright person to just very secluded and sad. Like, I was very isolated and always sick and always this and that. And, I found that I had to answer my own question for why. You find yourself asking like, why me? Why this of all things? Or why is this? And that question is, the answer to it is just because. Why? Because everything happens for a reason. Why? Because there's no explanation for things. There's nothing that's going to magically tell you why this is happening. So it's best for you to just let it be, and move forward from that. And so through therapy and really just a lot of self-reflection, I had to let go of that fear, because I always told myself I can't do this, or I'm not going to be able to be around these people, or being a teenager, a kid, I'm in high school. When you don't see somebody who you go to school with for weeks on end and then they show up, of course, as children, you're going to say something and, you mean it and all and well, but for the person who's been out and, you come back and somebody mentions it, it's like a kick in the face, So it's just a matter of growing and, informing people on what it's really like to live with a chronic illness.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, it's hard enough just being a high school student. So being a high school student and being sick, like, ooh, that's a whole different ball game. And I saw a comment come across from Ian while you were talking. Yes, thank you. So many jewels in all of your stories. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for sharing, because it takes courage to get on camera and talk about these ailments with you all. I don't know if a couple of them, I don't even know if you all have ever shared publicly. So this is a big deal that they're here kind of, just sharing their stories and their tips with you. And if you watch later, I want y'all to make sure you put #replay. All right. So next question I have for everyone is with relates to let's see, we got some feedback here. Okay, is what would you say to those who are still trying to figure out a diagnosis? And so you can give a quick answer to this one as our time is running out, and we're gonna go. Nicole, you have to unmute yourself, baby.
All right, I got to think about this for a
second. Okay, it's okay. We can go to.
Yeah.
All right, Mo, you want to go ahead and answer that, and then Chris.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't hear you over the noise.
It's at the bottom. What would you say to those who are still trying to figure out a diagnosis for their ailment?
What will I say? Okay, so I felt like when I was going through the diagnosis stage, it was an extremely frustrating situation for me because, again, like I said, I was a teenager, still am, young, and then you add this new physical illness to a perfectly healthy body of a swimmer, a person who has always been moving around. You add that, you add going into high school, and it's difficult. And it's hard because some doctors don't even believe you,
Ooh, girl, that's the worst. I almost cursed somebody out, and y'all know, like, I try to be good, saint, but they took me to the limit on one of them things. You just hit a nerve talking about, well, we think, we don't know, we can't figure it out, and you might be making it up. I was like, listen here, if I didn't have to be here, trust and believe, I would not be here. You hear me? Something is wrong in my body, and if y'all can't figure it out, I don't know who can. I really don't know who can. And so that is so true.
Unfortunate because there's been a lot of studies done on just the fact that women and especially African American women are more likely to not be believed by a medical professional when they're experiencing symptoms and to just be brushed off or told that they're over exaggerating, and it's led to death during childbirth. Deaths of women who didn't have to die, who could have been saved. And so it was very frustrating for me, and I can vividly remember me, crawling and laying my head in my mom's lap and just crying because saying, like, why won't anybody believe me? And just know this, there's people out there who do believe you. There's people out there who are going through the same thing that you are. There's people out there who have gotten on the other side of that situation, because it seems like a black hole when you're going through it. It's like seems like there's no way out.
Yes. Okay, Chris, you want to hop in, and Nicole? Chris.
I'll probably just say, and you're trying to figure out if you have the diagnosis, look at the subtleties. Especially, I know the biggest thing is weight. If you can't check your weight, if you notice you're going up like 5, 6, 7 pounds, and you haven't really been like doing much or eating much or nothing out of the ordinary, monitor your body. When it gets sick, or when the weather changes, or when you're just doing things that are just regular. That's kind of the biggest thing is the weight that that you'll start to take on, and once the kidneys begin to shut down. So, just look at your weight. A lot of people just say, "Oh, drink water and your kidneys will be fine." Like, it's not. Sometimes water could be your biggest enemy. So just watch and monitor your weight. That's probably what I would say.
Thank you, Nicole.
Okay, so I would say don't give up. It's all about finding the doctor who's not going to treat you like a number. I was misdiagnosed for 4 years before I finally found somebody who saw me as a person instead of a number. So don't give up, and also find a community through Facebook, through whatever. Find a community of people who are having similar symptoms, because having that community, maybe they're going through the exact same thing that you're going through. Like, they went through it 5 years ago, and they can help you figure out how to get to where you are. And also, it's all about mindset. When you believe that somebody's going to find your diagnosis, somebody's going to figure out your diagnosis, and the right person is going to be aligned to you, and that you will finally know exactly what's wrong with you, and you'll be able to move forward from there.
Oh, so true. So true. Thank you all for sharing. And I'll just jump in here to say, I told my primary doctor, and you're right, you got to get a doctor that's willing to work with you and try to figure it out and things that actually cares. And luckily I had one that was fresh out of medical school, and he's a head honcho now, but back then, he was new. And even though it's funny because he had patients that were afflicted who were children with CVS, but because normally CVS patients have it like from childhood on, but they found out now that it also can onset in adulthood. And so for me, it onset like right before my 25th birthday. And so, so he didn't even suspect it, even though he had patients with it. I ended up having to go somewhere else to get it diagnosed, a specialist, at Northwestern diagnosing for me, but I went a year and a half without a diagnosis first. So I say, number one, keep speaking up for yourself. Number two, you are your best advocate. Number three, get multiple opinions, because I got so tired of having to tell the story over and over again that I really didn't want to leave hospitals, because University of Chicago, I had all my records, right? Because I went to college there. I was born there. Like, I mean, high school, close to like proximity. And so like they had everything. And so, I think you just have to be an advocate for yourself, because literally when they were telling me that they couldn't figure it out, I've had every test under the sun and I must be making it up. I was like, they were releasing me from the hospital because really they didn't have a way to charge me once my kidney infection was gone. They didn't have a way to charge my insurance, and that's what it really was. So find out the billable code. If you do have an affliction, there's a billable insurance code that you should know and be able to give to them. And if there's certain remedies and things that work for you, have that on you as well. But if you haven't found out the diagnosis yet, just keep doing your own research and keep asking and being your own advocate. And then make sure you have someone that can go with you that can advocate on your behalf when you can't, because there are times where you can't. And so you need someone who can speak up for you in that regard. And then be convicted, like Nicole said, because I told my primary care doc, I said, once we figured out what it was, and I had, then I said, listen, doc, I'm going to find a cure to this thing. You mark my word. I'm going to find a cure to this thing, and I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to help a whole lot of people, because I can't believe how this had turned my life around. Because I was someone who worked a full-time job at at the Chicago Public Schools. I was an administrator. I was part-time at University of Chicago. I was running for the pageant. I'm, former Miss Black Hyde Park. I sang the national anthem for the Chicago White Sox. I was doing that then. I was in school full-time, working my master's of education, K through 12 in Spanish. And I traveled the world. I love to travel. I've been all over. And I was dating and having fun too. And so I was in the studio recording, because I'm singing. And then I was doing modeling. Like you couldn't keep me still. So for this to have taken me from someone who was able to do all of that, and I had my Mary Kay business, let me add that in there, right? And so it took me from being able to do all that to being able to do nothing. And I just knew something was wrong inside my body. And so trust your inner intuition, trust your instinct, because you know your body better than anyone. And so the last question we'll have as we wrap up here, and then I'll share with you all some of our upcoming lives and topics and things that I got going for you, is what would be your advice to someone with the same ailment? What would be your parting advice? And then repeat the name of your ailment for our viewers who might have joined on a little later. Mo, do you want to start? And then Chris and Nicole?
The name of my ailment is functional dyspepsia. And some advice that I would give for someone who has the same ailment as me is be very mindful of your diet. There are antibiotics in the meats that we eat. And, for me, that didn't click until after I had already stopped eating meat. But I'm like, why meat? Why was that such an issue? You got to think about it. When you're getting meat from restaurants and you're getting it from these places that are buying it wholesale and they're getting it in bulk, they're not looking for the healthiest option. They're looking for the cheapest option. And most of the time, they're filled with pesticides and chemicals and antibiotics, and they're fed on grains, and there's nothing really nutritious about it anymore by the time it gets to you. And then, like I said, my ailment was triggered by an overflow of antibiotics in my system causing nerve damage. So when you're continuously eating small bits of, this antibiotic, even if it's not your traditional, one that you take, your body is still having to filter that out. And so it's still affecting you. So, just really be mindful of what you eat.
Yes. Thank you. Chris, you want to share?
I would just say, again, watch your weight. Look for the subtleties, especially with like just simple things I said like before, changing the weather, things you eat. If you're taking on excess weight from things like stress or if you're just doing your regular routine and you just see like an influx and your weight, you start to feel really sluggish. Definitely, you want to check to see if your kidneys are working properly.
Okay. Yes, and that change in weather is so accurate because that was a trigger for me too for the change in weather. And so that's another thing to figure out your triggers. If that means you have to do a cleanse, which I wholeheartedly recommend the Master Lemonade cleanse to everyone. You can get it in a health food store near you. They have the book about it, but I definitely recommend it. And so because when you put your body back in its natural state and you can cleanse it of some of the toxins, then it's able to activate its own healing abilities. And so I think that's a key piece to kind of clear out some of the stuff that we've ingested, even unknowingly, in the foods that are really impacting us. And paying attention to when you start adding foods back, what are your triggers, right? So Mo recognized that it was the meats and things for her. So she cut that out of her diet, right? And then Chris recognized, that, hey, the weather is triggering me, right? So you do have to recognize your triggers. So go ahead, Nicole, and share your thoughts.
So my thing is the neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome and then the chronic migraines. And I would say the same thing. It's definitely figure out your triggers, because for my migraines, it was alcohol, chocolate, stress, being woken up in the middle of the night. And then stress. Do whatever you can to avoid stress. Try to figure out how to handle it, whether it's journaling, meditation, deep breathing. Stress can lead to so many things, and stress is a trigger for pretty much everything out there, every condition that you have. So just any way that you can minimize stress.
Oh, it is so true. And I do think that keeping a journal is really important. So if you keep a journal, that's important. And oh my goodness, the hour flies by so fast. It flies by so fast. We get just getting good. And so if you see at the bottom, I have a couple of things scrolling, but I've actually started a new Facebook group, which is in the works. And so, but it is public, so y'all can start joining now, but I'm, still getting it all together because I've gotten a lot of requests about different things. I was like, well, how can I just like pour into people on a more consistent basis? And so it's called Breaking Belief Barriers. Okay, Breaking Belief Barriers. And so we'll cover an array of topics. It'll be a safe community. And I want y'all to join away. And so that one is one that you can join. And then also, of course, if you are a parent or a caregiver, the CBS group is one as well. And so before I show you all the next slides and we close out for the night, for my guest speakers, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We so appreciate you. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and your thoughts. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being open. Thank you for sharing your remedies, because this is a different kind of topic, I know, than what my audience is used to, but I think it's an important one because there's someone out there who will hear this or watch this, or someone will tag them in it, and it might change their life. It really might shift things for them. And so if you're watching later, we want you to put #replay. If you watch later, we want you to put #replay on it as well. And if you are not following me, please do follow at Inez K. Jones is the social media handle on all social media. And here we go. So next Thursday, we have a couple of things showing. And so we're going to make that big so you all can see it. And so, you can go back to the one you were on. And so we have a few different things. And so for my Mary Kay people, or people who are into makeup, we got date night makeup going on August 17th. And that's on my Inez Jones Mary Kay Independent Sales Director page, or my YouTube channel. I stream live there as well. And that's at 7 p.m. for our Makeup Mondays. And we can go to the next slide. And then we have a couple more happening. And so we also have different themes every Monday. And so the 17th, we're actually going to do model glamour. On the 31st, we're actually going to do new product rollout. So for the new products, which I'm wearing some of them now as well for our new products. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then for next Thursday on this live, for my followers who follow this channel at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to be breaking the myth busters about home-based businesses, okay, with our Thursday thing. So you see, we do an array of topics. I told y'all, we done credit, we done dating and courting, we done illnesses, we're doing home-based businesses, because I do believe, especially in this pandemic time, everybody's eyes and ears have opened up a little bit more to these home-based businesses as y'all had to work from home. Some people enjoyed being home. Some people couldn't stand it or had to learn how to, separate the family and the work time and things. And it was a bit of an adjustment, but I believe in multiple streams of income. And so these are some dynamic people who are going to be on. And so from different fields. And well, shoot, I'm a part of all of them, okay, of the businesses we'll be talking about. And so I told y'all, I believe in multiple streams of income. And I just want to share. I want to share different ways of how you can make money from home, how you can make money in your sleep, how you can have multiple streams of income, and then also how you might have a misconstrued thinking about home-based businesses. And so these people on this flyer, they've made 7 figures. Some of them 6 figures, right? In their businesses. And so being able to retire, early, and then start a whole nother career and do another 7 figures with that. So y'all don't want to miss that next week. And then next we have coming up for our different events, because we got a few coming up. So I figured I'll just show them to y'all. Y'all always ask me to sing, so I'm gonna sing again, and we're gonna make this a regular. So every fourth Thursday for my music heads out there, y'all can tune in. And so it'll be myself, and I'll be featuring Andrea C. Scott. And if y'all haven't heard her sing, y'all are in for a treat. Oh, because she is amazing. She is my soror. She is a Mary Kay National Sales Director of Maritime, and she has her own businesses. And oh my goodness, she believes in multiple streams of income too. And so we're going to be singing for y'all in a couple Thursdays. And so you want to tune in for that. And I think that might be all of our slides. And so that is it. That is all. We thank you all for taking an hour to be here with us. We thank you for watching. If you watch later, put #replay. You can comment along as if you had never missed a beat, okay? Because I do go back and read the comments, and I do respond. And I hope that it helped you. I hope that you learned something new. I hope that you were able to maybe take away some tips that can benefit your life. And practicing gratitude is what Nicole shared. That's so amazing. And then last but not least, I do want to share this. I believe that the final piece for me, outside of the waters, outside of the little headache tips and tricks, outside of the supplements, because that's really important. And since I was buying so many supplements, and like CoQ10 is a real important one, which is why that was on that picture. And CoQ10 is good for everyone. And then there's something called proarginine. So I'll drop some links in the comments afterwards. But I do believe that the last piece of the puzzle for me was Reiki. And if you don't know what Reiki is, watch some of my previous lives. But Reiki is one way that people control the energy. Oh, Nicole, you're on mute, girl. I can't hear you. But Reiki is...
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, there we go. Yes, thank you. And so it's one way that people are able to heal, because a lot of times we have blockages, not only internal, which is why the cleanse is good, right? But we have blockages in our lymph nodes. Well, I didn't talk about that, but if you haven't heard of a naturopath, you want to get your lymph nodes cleared out, because that will help with headaches or any kind of ailments that you're having in your body, to clear your lymph nodes out. And there's a special machine and special techniques that the naturopath does to do that. But with Reiki, it works with the energy and your chakras. And so we all have chakras. And so whether you understand it or not, you're an energetic being. You're an electromagnetic field. And if that is out of whack, then everything's out of whack in your body, and you're having different issues, or you're not able to sleep, or you're having stomach pains, or you're having headaches, etc. And so I do believe that was the final piece for me of the puzzle, is because not only did I start receiving Reiki, but then I became a master practitioner, and I just, I'm better than I've ever been in a long time. And for me, I didn't say this, but my cycle would even trigger my ailment. So I could always count out once a week where I'd be out for the count. And now that doesn't even bother me. I don't have to worry about the light triggering it. I can actually drink a glass of wine again. Thank goodness. Okay. Because alcohol used to trigger it for me. And, I like a little wine. I can't lie. I'm grown, but I had to stop for a long time because it was making me sick. Now I can enjoy a glass. I can eat ice cream again, y'all. Like, oh, that was unheard of for the dairy. So I know that it works, and I'm always open to doing a first session pro bono for anyone who's willing to try. And I know that God unlocked these gifts in me for a reason. And so I explain it like it's a doctor for your energy. You have a doctor for everything else. This is a doctor for your energy, and a practitioner. And it's a beautiful thing when they're aligned and you do feel different. You feel more energetic. You're able to see things differently. You're able to sense stuff in your body more, and your intuition and your personal gifts, because we all have gifts, are unlocked. And so, oh my goodness, let's do any last thoughts y'all want to share, since I went on a rant. Any last thoughts as we're ending this live? If you all want to come off mute, I know y'all are muted.
Just feel free to reach out to me, anybody who feels connected to my things. I mean, it's not just invasive endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, IBS, cervical dysplasia, TMJ, and fibrocystic breast disease. So any of those resonate with you, reach out to me.
Yeah, they said I had that TMJ thing. My naturopath knocked that right out.
My Healy does wonders, and my Healy, so it works with the energy just like Reiki does. So I was totally resonating with that.
Yes, and honestly, it's similar because that's a machine that someone's developed to actually tune into the frequencies. Whereas God unlocked the gift where I can like see the colors and I can see and feel it. Therefore, I am the machine. I told her, I was like, I don't need a girl because I am the machine. I can say it confidently because I've helped so many people in a short amount of time. And so I just love it, and I do believe that it is an important piece. Mo, you want to share any final thoughts, and then Chris?
For me, I do agree.
Probably just
watching your energy is a big part of it. Final thoughts: be kind to people. You never know by looking at someone what they may be going through, and just because they seem like a normal person, they look like you, they can function and talk like you at the time, does not mean that when they get home and they take off those clothes and they sit down, they're going to have the same level of comfort as you, because it's a whole other work day for people with a chronic illness. When you get home and then you have to manage your medicines on top of everything else that you do, and then you have to separate them, and then you have to make sure that you eat or don't eat or this, that, and the third, and you have to keep up with so many different things that it becomes more than just physical ailment. It becomes emotional baggage. So definitely watch your energy.
Yes. Chris, would you like to share any final thoughts?
Oh, just your health is everything. Just watch it. Just watch your health.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Well, that's it, y'all. We went a little over, but I hope it was beneficial for you. I hope you learned something. I hope you took a tip that you can share with someone else. Oh, she says, thank you for sharing this. Yolanda, thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting. And so I really do hope that it helps someone who might be, sick and in the bed and just wondering like, what can I do? Because I know I have been there. And back 10 years ago, we didn't have all the social media groups and support groups and things. Like, it's easy to find something now, but there was nothing back then for CBS. And so it can be a journey. And so I hope that this helped you all. Thank you to my guests who joined. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. And if you aren't following me, make sure to follow at Inez K. Jones, and you can join my new group, Breaking Belief Barriers, and you'll be one of the founding members. Okay. And so please do join. And I hope you have a fantastic evening. This has been Thursday Thang with Inez K. Jones. And we want you to tune in next Thursday at 8 p.m. for our topic. We'll be doing Mythbusters about home-based businesses. Good night, everyone.
Bye.